Hey, hey, hey. Good morning here in Perth in Western Australia. I'm not sure what time it is with you, wherever you may be. So I wanted to finish off the 6 core elements of successful marketing. So we've done the previous 5, which were, and if you haven't seen them, go back and look at them. Number 1 was attention. So we're talking about the reptilian brain, the original brain, and people call it different things, but it's actually that original brain, which was before language, before emotions. It was that fight or flight type brain. So grab attention is number 1. Number 2 was to tap into the core emotions. Number 3 was a visual bias. We talked about that, way back then we were programmed to visually see if something was of danger to us or if it was safe or whatever that was. Then we talked about it being me-centric. It's all about them. It's, it's a quick reactionary decision, yes or no. There's no maybe, there's no funny fuzzy bits in the middle at all. Then we talked last time about contrast. And we talked a lot about the before and after shots and how it's really easy to see that contrast. And number 6, so if you haven't seen those ones, go back and look them. They're on my YouTube channel as well, just under Carmel Murphy in YouTube. So this one is all about being tangible. So here's the thing about the decision brain. So it doesn't really like to think too much. In terms of, we talked about a crocodile or an alligator last time. You can't make it do what you want it to do. You can only make it do what it wants to do. So we have to put in front of it, in front of that brain, a way that it makes it an easy decision for them. So number 1 is that that decision brain likes things that are familiar to it. It doesn't, it's the most powerful force of psychological and emotional things is that familiarity. It doesn't want to have to think. If it has to think, then quite often it's a no, because it just has to kind of think too much. Number 2 is the reptilian brain reacts to things that are tangible. So you need to hook it up to things that are familiar. So that's why last time you would have seen in the contrast, I shared like a weight loss before and after, and also a balding person before and after. So with visually, they can tell really quickly that that's a tangible result that they can get from what it is you're offering. So that's why contrast is so important, to show them the tangible outcome they can make. Don't leave it a bit fuzzy or confusing, because if they have to think too much, as I said, that will default to a no. They'll go on to the next thing. Think about, again, that alligator or crocodile. If you're wrangling a piece of meat in front of them, it's a yes, I'm hungry, I'll eat the meat. But if you're tempting them that there's meat behind 2 or 3 barriers and things like that, they'll lose interest. They won't actually try to do it. So, and the third thing to remember is link ideas. So how you use this in your marketing to make sure that you're attracting the right people to you is link it in a way that is familiar and known to them. So what I mean by that is link it in a way that is not new. So the concept of new to that reptilian brain quite often is danger. So we want to make sure that it's attached to something that's familiar. So we call it the buying brain, which is the original brain. It's the first one that makes that decision. So it understands concrete ideas like save money, save time, relieve pain, make money, enjoy more sex. It actually understands those, because you don't have to think about what does it mean by save more money? What does it mean by save time? They sound really tangible and logical things like that. So by spelling out exactly what the substantial and concrete gains are for your ideal client, you will increase what we call the pre-purchase intent. So remembering that when the reptilian brain is the first brain that says yes or no, and it then escalates to it'll look for evidence. So that's why the emotions are important. It's looking, oh, is it tangible? Then it's like it's escalating up like this. Oh, the visual makes sense. This all happens in milliseconds. It's about me. It's going to solve my problem. All of these things are a part of it. But if you don't get the initial yes in that original brain, then everything else, it'll never escalate to a yes when it's an original no. So we have to get the original yes. So that's grab their attention. That was number one we spoke about, grab their attention, but it has to be escalated all the way. So, you know, when sometimes something's grabbed your attention and then you start calling bullshit on it, you go, I'm not sure. And then we start to logic it. So that's when the other brains come in. But we need to trigger that initial brain first, or we can't even think about the other brains coming in because it can't escalate up to them if the initial decision or answer is no. So to use it in your marketing, make sure that you're connecting it with things that are familiar, you're using the contrast, you're making it quite tangible. They can see they're going to save time by working with you. We do that quite a lot in some of our areas, like our membership is going to save you time. You don't have to go learn all these other courses because we have the answers for you. So make sure it's tangible. Make sure it's something they can almost feel if they just reach out another little bit. And that will help you with your marketing and how you can attract more of your ideal clients to you. So that was number 6 in those 6 core elements of successful marketing. I hope that they have helped you in some way. If you have any questions that we haven't covered, make sure that you put them in the comments below. But for now, it's bye from me.